And as promised, we are joined on our set by former UConn Husky football player Rob Lund. Of course, thefatwhiteguy.com. Now, he showed up today at our building, and I looked at him and I said, "You're not so fat anymore. How do you have thefatwhiteguy.com if you're not that fat anymore?"
You're giving me up. I'm a complete fraud now.
How much weight have you lost? There's like nothing left of you.
Oh, about 70, 75 pounds, just like Jared.
Did you do it the same way?
No, I didn't eat tons of Subway. Lots of McDonald's, just less of it,
Yeah, and I know you're doing some work with Nesson and thefatwhiteguy.com. I have to ask you, could you have imagined that this thing would have taken off the way it did?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this is just one of those stories where it's I'm a complete drain on society, provide no real services to anyone, and yet it's actually a career at this point.
And what do you write most of the time? I mean, I've checked it out from time to time. Evans pointed me to some of your articles, but I mean, what are you writing about most? I'm looking here. There's a picture of food. I see something I see food in a tin. I mean, what are you doing?
I'm in short and sweet. I'm living the dream. Listen, I'm living the dream. No, we do a lot of sports media stuff, whether it's college football, obviously with a Connecticut UConn focus. And now we have our NFL site. We have a Major League Baseball site as well. But the summer months, there's not a lot of football going on. So basically, it's just a personal narrative of what I've been doing and what we have going on in my life, which is, I like to think it's entertaining, but
it is. I'm as you're talking to me, I'm sitting there looking at some of the stuff on here. It's great. One of the last pieces you wrote from a football perspective was talking about Randy Edsall, and we talked a little bit about it last week. I mean, can it be considered a bit of a panic move, him going in and coaching the safeties? Talk a little bit about it. I mean, you've been inside that locker room. You've been inside that team. You know Randy well. Talk about what you think went into this.
Well, I mean, he's already named his starters. I don't think it's a panic move by any means. I think that he's, like he said, it's a CEO move. He's making the strongest move he can to help his team. And got a first-year guy coaching DB, so he's taken over the safety position. I mean, if anything, it's a blessing because he's probably the most qualified person on that staff to coach defensive backs. I mean, NFL experience, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. I mean, he's pretty much done it all. And,
but we also know this was one of the spots last year where this team really got burned. Mm-hmm. The secondary was an issue. Is this kind of him saying, look, I'm going to be more the hands-on guy? We see it in the NFL all the time, where head coaches will take more of that, we were talking about a little bit, that CEO approach.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he's bringing the whole matter into his own hands. He's putting it on his shoulders, which is like any great leader. You want the ball, you want the responsibility to be on you. Not to mention, he graduated guys like Robert McClain, Robbie Vaughn. Obviously, there's going to be some overlap in terms of, some drop-off in talent, but, he's already named his starters, and I think that he's bringing matters into his own hands. That's just the best thing that he can do for the team. This
is a different team and a different program from the one you left.
Oh, absolutely.
In a big way.
Well, yeah, it's not a lot of fat white guys. A lot of slow fat guys that have lost their hair at 18 on the team. We got a lot of great athletes now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's able to score some points, and it's not the plodding,
it's not.
We're going to run the ball, 3 yards in a cloud of dust sort of UConn offense.
I think the defense is pretty much the same in terms of their heart.
Yes.
Their speed is definitely improved, but you got to thank Joe Moorhead for bringing in the spread and the running gun and trusting Zach Frazier to open up and kind of let it rip. Not to mention, over the past 4 years, they've had excellent running backs every year. Not to mention now you add DJ Shoemate in the mix. I mean, how much better is their offense going to get?
How much can he add? I mean, I've talked about, can he be one of those big X factor guys? You're able to get him on the field to do some different things. He could run the ball. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. He really seems like he could provide them with something that they haven't had.
He is a threat. I would actually put him in the vein of Donnie Brown, talking about a guy out of the backfield that can catch. But look at Tobin, 2,000-yard runner. You obviously lose something with Dixon graduating, and Shoemate, he provides a wrinkle. He provides a changeup, and Edsall has no problem. Obviously, Moorhead showing going to a two running back sort of situation. I think that he is going to provide that sort of changeup that's no drop off in talent. Let Tobin rest his legs, put Shoemate in there, let him pound the ball. I mean, he has the capability and the athleticism to play tailback, but also can play a fullback position, can be a blocking back. Maybe you run a 3-back set, put him, Anthony Sherman in there, and Tobin. I mean, think about all that power in the backfield. You run two tights, 3 men in the backfield, and just play pounding football. I mean, who's going to stop you?
Talking with Rob Lund, thefatwhiteguy.com, giving us a few minutes on the back page, although he's not so fat anymore. I've blown his cover a little bit because he's not nearly as fat as he once was. Give me an example of some of the sorts of things Randy Edsall will do, because let's be honest, this team's been picked to finish 4th in the preseason polls. That's as high as they've ever been picked. Mm-hmm. I had Stuart Mandel on the show from SI.com a couple weeks ago. He said, I haven't picked my Big East winner yet, and he goes, because I think UConn could win the Big East. How does Randy keep the team's kind of head in check? Give me an example of what Randy will do to keep guys from getting too excited or too big-headed or too confident.
I think that's probably the one thing that he's known for, is not letting guys get big heads. Whether you're the superstar of the team, like when I was playing, it was Donnie Brown, or you're the worst guy in the team who's actually in this radio studio with you right now. I mean, he keeps guys grounded, and he sticks to the fundamentals. He doesn't take he doesn't break from the pattern. Whether we open up the season 2 years in a row, 5-0, that sixth game we were still going strong, same way, same pattern, same rate of play, and I think that keeps the guys grounded. Yeah, I mean, they've been picked fourth, but the previous seasons it was 6th, 7th, 8th, dead last, tied with Syracuse, and we always end up finishing. So let's just get it out of the way right now. We've been picked either last or middle of the road. Now we're picked fourth. We're going to go to a bowl game. We're going to have a lot of upsets, and I think that Michigan's got something to worry about.
You have grown up in the Northeast. You grew up in New York, just outside of Buffalo. You have lived, now you're living out in Boston. You've lived here in Connecticut. I think there's something to be said for UConn football having an opportunity to really just capture the entire Northeast. Mm-hmm. Now, for years it's been Boston College. Yep. We obviously know they're fearful of UConn now. When we've heard of some of the reports of guys getting sent letters or guys being emailed stuff saying, you want to get away from UConn, Randy's going to leave. I think UConn has a real opportunity here, and it could start this year. Somebody's got to be the beast of the Northeast. Mm-hmm. Why not UConn?
I think that this is their year. This is their coming out party. I mean, if you are not believing in UConn football yet, after this year, you're going to be. You look at Boston College playing most of their schedule south of the Mason-Dixon. They thought the ACC was going to be a better move for them in terms of competition, revenue, exposure. But they've left the door open for a UConn to come in and start swooping up all the recruits in the Northeast. I mean, Rutgers has been trying to do it, but I mean, they're in a media hub right now. New York City, Hartford, Boston. This is UConn's year to really turn some heads. And look at the level of opponent they're playing last year with Notre Dame, this year with Michigan, coming up, going to be having Tennessee. You really can't miss them anymore. And I think this is their year.
The Edsel conversation as to, well, is he going to be here? Could he wind up leaving for a different program? Seems to kind of permeate things every single year in some way, shape, or form. It was Syracuse a couple of years ago. Last year it was Notre Dame. There's always some sort of conversation about where Randy might be headed. Let's just say hypothetically, a year or two down the line, he does leave. He gets an opportunity maybe with a Michigan or a Penn State or maybe an NFL opportunity. Can this program withstand that sort of loss? Are they going to be able to bring in, being in the Northeast and maybe not yet being that national power, are they going to be able to bring in the type of head coach that's going to be able to keep the momentum moving forward if he is to leave at some point?
Well, I mean,
or is he just so special for this program, so built for this program?
I think that he's almost in a situation, and I don't want to compare him to Joe Paterno. Not just yet; he's got a few more years before that. But this is a situation where he's at a school with an athletic department that is dialed into him, that is going to do what he wants to do. And how many opportunities has Jim Calhoun had to leave UConn? But if we are going to play devil's advocate and say that, okay, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, coach leaves, I have to believe that if he doesn't bring his staff with him, say it's position in the NFL where he doesn't have the opportunity to bring a full staff with him, I have no doubt in my mind that some of the coaches at that program, especially on the defensive side of the ball with Todd Orlando or Hank Hughes, could come in and adapt his model and make it work. Now, if you're going to bring in an outside coach, you're obviously going to bring in another style. I mean, I'm only familiar with Coach Edsel, and I know what an asset he is to the University of Connecticut and to the state of Connecticut in general. But let's say you bring in a Rich Rodriguez or something like that. I think that Connecticut is starting to make a name for itself in terms of recruiting, that they're going to be able to bring in enough talent to sort of close the gap.
All right, before I let you go, I got to say it. We went to the fatwhiteguy.com earlier today, Evan and I did, and Evan said, all I heard out of the office where Evan Wilner resides, which is right next to mine, was, oh, my God. He might as well just said OMG. But he said, oh, my God. And I'm like, what, Wilner? Because that comes out of his office, every 5 minutes. I'm like, what, Wilner? He's like, you've got to see Rob Lund's girlfriend. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, he put a picture of her on the fatwhiteguy.com. And we went and looked, and I said, wow. things are looking up for Rob. He's moving up in the world, huh?
Things are very bright at home in Boston.
Not bad.
No, I'm doing okay. You know what? And as much as she hates me talking about her and putting her on the radio or on the website, she's beyond beautiful. She's actually a great person. She's my roommate now too. So
she's your roommate.
Yeah, we've taken that step. So. She's great. You know, like I said, she has no business dating me, and I've actually broken it down on the website. I call it bar Darwinism, where I was a chubby kid growing up, and I had to develop a personality out of necessity. And I've basically been able to trick her for 2.5 years, just making her laugh. If you can make a girl laugh, you can make her do anything, even date a fat kid.
Is that the next thing you're going to start writing about? Is how to be a fat white guy picking up women?
I should write a book. I don't know. I'm basically not picking up women. I just picked up one and did really well with it. So everyone's like, "What's your secret?"
All you need is one, though.
I think she's got bad eyesight, which is really probably the truth. Is she didn't see me when we met? I was 300 and something pounds.
Yeah.
I think she's just a glutton for punishment. She just wants to hang out with the fat kid. And if you go to the website, she's actually wearing a Tom Brady jersey. And I'm a big Bills fan, so that hurt. But I would get her a Bills jersey, but we don't know who their quarterback's going to be since, I don't know, Jim Kelly. So what am I going to do?
Hey, if the eyes are bad, then you've done all right, because the rest of her looks all right.
Oh, she's great. She's a wonderful person, too.
Rob, listen, always great to have you on thefatwhiteguy.com. And I can't spoil it, but hopefully we'll be doing a lot of other things together. Appreciate the time.
Hope so.